Hello and welcome to this short video where I introduce you to a key technique to overcome aches and pains, and to do that by retraining your nervous system, not by pushing or forcing yourself in any way, but through very gentle movement and awareness. My name is Samantha Holland. I'm an essential somatics movement teacher, and that practice takes as one of its core principles that it challenges the myth of aging, because fundamental to the system that I teach is that aches and pains, postural issues, that kind of thing, don't come from literal age in years. They come from a build-up, right, of everyday stresses and strains and habits. You know, carrying a bag, sitting at a desk, driving a car, sitting awkwardly, getting into unhelpful habits. And these build up over time. And also they can come from injuries and traumas as well, and emotional stress. So the idea really is that it's not about your age in years, it's about experiences building up, which, by the way, is why, teenagers can get quite problematic with their posture. And some people are in their 90s and quite sprightly. A lot of it is how we deal with what happens to us and how our automatic nervous system responds, whether it keeps us stuck or whether we find ways to release ourselves. Of course, we're so used to being told that it's inevitable that you will decline and get more pain and less mobile as you age, that factors into it too. There's a lot more to say on this, but really suffice to say that we help people whatever their age, and it really does work. One of the crucial reasons is that we do what we have evolved as humans to do, to get out of pain and discomfort. And that's something that humans have pretty much stopped doing or forgotten to do in modern society, but animals all around us still do it. So if you look at a dog or a cat and you think about it stretching, it's actually not stretching, it's pandiculating, and that's the technique I'm going to teach you. And humans evolved also to pandiculate, but we don't. We've replaced it with stretching, and we're just not looking after ourselves in that kind of a way anymore. So this is what I'm introducing you to, and this is what makes this work powerful, and especially to create lasting change. So this technique called pandiculation is at the core, and I'm going to teach you pandiculation by focusing on your shoulders to start with. Hopefully quite accessible for people, but also often quite stiff or tight, so a useful place to start. So initially, can you take your fingers of one hand, doesn't matter which side you start, and put your fingertips on your opposite shoulder. You don't have to press it, you're not pressing into your fingers, they're just there to get feedback, to feel what's happening. If it's not comfortable for you to put your fingers on your shoulder, you don't need to put your fingers on your shoulder, you just need to focus on one shoulder. So we're moving our shoulders, but don't keep the rest of your body rigid, let it move with you. Because again, part of somatics is that every problem, every ache or every pain is related to a whole body pattern. So we want to get our whole body moving. So with your fingers on that shoulder, can you contract your shoulder up towards your ear, tighten it up as far as is comfortable? My movements will be quite big, partly to show you clearly. Yours can be small, it doesn't matter. Slowly, wherever it contracted to, can you start releasing that shoulder down? Paying attention. What do you feel? What do you feel under your fingers? What do you feel from the inside? Can you control the movement? Does it jump or jerk? Or are there bits where it speeds up? Then just let your shoulder rest. You're not pushing it further. You're just letting it rest. This is designed to give your nervous system information that it can use. So, that again, contract that shoulder up. Second part of the pandiculation is a slow release, as controlled as you can make it. But if there are jumps or shakes or bits where it speeds up, just notice them, don't worry about them. Over time, you can take back control. Third part is letting the area that's contracted and then released rest. This is crucial. If you don't do this part, then you won't do yourself any harm. It's good to contract and release slowly, but you won't be pandiculating because your brain needs that time to integrate the information that you've given it. So we'll do that one more time on this first side. Contract your shoulder up. Keep breathing. Slow release. Breathing as you need to. Paying attention to what's going on in your shoulder, and then let it go. Just take a moment. Your hands can be by your side, on your lap, and just notice any differences side to side after doing a tiny bit of movement. And just breathe. And we'll take a moment to think about breathing. Can you put one or both hands on your belly? And notice if breath is coming into your belly or not. Do you breathe in to your belly so that your lungs can expand fully? Or do you associate breathing in with pulling your belly in? Which means you don't get all the oxygen that you need. That is another common myth, right? That that's how you breathe. Do you breathe primarily into your chest? Put your hand there. That's more shallow breathing. So again, one of the aims, we can't do all of this in a 15-20 minute video, but is to breathe more fully. Let your belly be soft. When you breathe into your belly. Your back might arch. When you breathe out, let the air out of your belly so it can come all the way out of your lungs. And we'll come back to this, but just want you to focus for a moment on that breath. And then we'll change sides. So you take your other hand, put those fingertips on your other shoulder. Breathing as you need to, just keep breathing. Don't go into pain, but contract that shoulder up as far as is comfortable, very slightly into discomfort. Slow, gentle, aware, release down, paying attention to what's happening. And let that shoulder go. Breathe. Keep your eyes closed if you can. You'll get more information internally. You don't need to watch me at this point. Contract that shoulder up. Slow, gentle release with awareness. Is it jumpy? Is it smooth? Is it easy to control? Tough? Again, when you're ready, maybe you can press pause, release that shoulder for a moment, and just breathe. And then third time on this side, shoulder up, slow, measured release with as much control as you can manage. Again, don't worry about it. You don't want to force anything because that will tighten your muscles and not release your muscles. Let your shoulder release down. And again, just breathe. Put your hand on your belly if it helps. Put your focus there. And I'm just going to speak briefly to the postural kind of position that's associated in our culture with age, but isn't necessarily a part of aging. And that is where people slump a bit, their back starts curving out a bit too much, and their chin and their neck jut forward and up a little, right? So again, for the vast majority of people, that's habitual. Your brain thinks that's normal, thinks that's correct, so it keeps you there. It's not helpful because it constricts your breathing. It will cause kind of physical aches and pains. And it is possible to remind your brain over time that is not the most helpful way for you to be, and that you might want to have a longer front and have a head and neck that are more balanced and not pulling you forward. So I haven't got long left, but I'm going to just give a couple of movements to help you either improve that or really see and experience the potential for how that might change for you, even if it's challenging and even if your movements are tiny at this point. They might not be. It might be quite helpful. You might be quite mobile and find it really beneficial. So obviously you can watch me if you need to, but it's better to do this with your eyes closed to keep your awareness, your sensing inwards. That's where your body will get the information from. So close your eyes if you're happy to. You can put your finger on your chin if it helps, but you don't have to. Can you just keep breathing and consciously look up a little, pointing your chin up a bit, noticing if your chest caves very slightly, if your shoulders come forward or not, and then breathe, come back up to rest, to wherever feels neutral for your neck. And then can you breathe in and look down, just slightly, just an inch or so towards your chest with your chin. Does your back arch? Do your shoulders go back? Does the back of your neck feel longer? Release slowly and gently out of that, even if it's a really small movement. Just do that once more. Look up. Come back to wherever center is for you. Preferably on a breath. Gently, half an inch or an inch, look down. Notice if and what changes in the rest of your body. Does your center move? Do you rock on your hips and pelvis and your bottom or not? Let that go. Breathe. And now can you look gently in one direction? Just turn to look in one direction. This might be a tiny movement for you. Do not go into pain. Just move as far as it's comfortable and easily, slowly come back to center. Breathe. And look in that same direction and then slowly come back. Is there anything that's tense that doesn't need to be? Can you let anything go in your shoulder? Breathe in the center. And then gently look in the opposite direction. Notice if you can look further or less far this direction. Don't push it. Slowly ease back. Breathe and look in that direction again. And very slowly come back to center. And very consciously noticing which side feels more comfortable also might give you the information that you're slightly tilted or twisted to one side. You may know that already. But encouraging your body to do these movements in both directions and to lift your chin up and down and find center is what's valuable information for your nervous system, and it can help you ease away from aches and pains, especially over time, because you're reminding yourself that you can move differently. So I've just moved my chair back so you can see me a little bit more of me. Can you, if it's comfortable, sit towards the edge of your chair? If it's not, don't worry about it. But to encourage a bit more movement, if you sit towards the edge of your chair, it will make it quite a bit easier. Can you place, if it's comfortable, one set of fingers on your sternum, your breastbone, and one on your belly or your lower belly? When you breathe in, if you breathe into your belly, do you feel much movement anywhere else? Does your back arch? Does the distance, the space between your hands, get bigger when you breathe in? Does your front lengthen and your back shorten? If not, just notice, and if it does, just notice. Can you take a breath in to prepare to breathe out? Breathe in, breathe out. Does the distance between your hands get smaller, a little bit shorter? Breathe in, breathe out. So I'm going to exaggerate this. Breathe in, your back will arch, your front will get longer. Distance between your hands is more. Go through neutral or rest. Breathing out, you can really scrunch the front of your body. It may be that your tendency is to arch your back and keep your shoulders back, and I have free videos to address that specifically. However, it's important for people, even with an arched back, to be able to move their front. Just as if your front is very contracted, it's going to be important for you to learn to get more control and movement in your back. So we'll focus here for now because this is more associated with aging, right? The idea that people slump, their chin comes forward. So, especially if you are a bit slumped already, can you focus on that and contract further? You're bringing your brain's attention. You're going, oh, I'm quite contracted here. Look, make it smaller, right? Really crunch yourself up. See how that feels. Probably not very nice, although possibly familiar. Try and use your breath. So you're not pulling with your back or your shoulders, but breathe out. Can you breathe some length into the front of your body? Some distance between your hands. And try to resist. If you pull back with your back, notice it and release it. And that may not happen to you at all, and that's fine. How does it feel? Just do that once more. Really compress, tighten your front. Even if you already feel like you slouch too much and you're already too tight, do it more. Exaggerate what your body is already doing. Feel it. Tell yourself, I don't really want to be here. So that you can breathe some length into your front and start to get out of that compression. Put your hands on your belly or your ribs. Can you breathe more now? So I've said this is a super short introduction, but my hope is that by doing some of this, you will feel some results, some ease, and recognize the potential that you can learn quite a bit more. And just before I finish up, you just check in with your shoulders. So can you take fingers, put them on your opposite shoulder, doesn't matter which one. Contract up as far as you comfortably can and no further. Slow, mindful release down. Is it smoother? Are you more aware of jumps or shakes or speeding areas? Let that shoulder release. Let your brain take in the information. Take your other hand, put those fingers on your opposite shoulder. Bring that shoulder up as far as it's comfortable. Slow, gentle release with awareness. That's the second part of the pandiculation. Don't push it. Let it rest where it wants to. Third part of the pandiculation, to allow your nervous system to take in what you've taught it, what you've taught yourself. And now, gently, it might be a tiny movement, that's fine. Bring both shoulders up towards your ears. Let your chin go up a bit. Your chest might get a little more compressed. Slowly ease both shoulders down. Sit up a little more. Let your chin come to rest. Notice if one shoulder is easier to control than the other, or smoother than the other, or whether they feel quite balanced. And just, you can sit back on your chair if you want to. Do take a few moments. Maybe put your hand on your belly, think about how you're breathing. Maybe look side to side, up and down, very gently. And just pay attention to yourself for a minute or two to see if anything's changed, if you sense anything different. And I hope that some of that sensation will be a little bit of release of tension, or the potential for pain relief. And I hope you found this useful. And I also hope that you will want to explore this work further so that you can learn to retrain your own body, your own nervous system, to help you move away from pain, really whatever your age, because you really can change and you can learn more. Thank you.